Hello, I'm Professor Eric Senko. This is part of my series on personal finance courses, tools that will help you throughout your life. We've looked at a few things like our net worth, our monthly budget, car insurance. Now let's look at a decision that many of you have either made recently or will make. Should I buy a car or should I lease a car? So we're going to do a little exercise to determine which is a better option. So, as usual, you will have an email from me. Hey, spreadsheet shared, car, buy or lease. Click this, click open. And as always, we want to remove, you don't need to share it with me and all my other students. So right click and copy to new spreadsheet. It's copying the sheet. We'll open that. Now this is all yours. Okay, what are we going to do here? We are going to look at the same car and try to decide, is it cheaper to buy it or cheaper to lease it? Now for my courses, in order to make my life easier grading, I give my students exactly the vehicle and the purchase terms and the lease terms. So I go out and I find that from a car dealership and I say, here's the car you have to look at. Is it better to buy it or lease it? If you're doing this for yourself, obviously you can use a different car. But I want to stress, we need to compare apples to apples. So what you have to do is look at the same car over the same time frame. You don't want to say, oh, I could buy a 2024 Nissan Pathfinder, or I could lease a 2020, Hyundai Sonata. Those are two different cars. They're different ages. They're different types of cars. That's not really a fair comparison. You want to settle on the car. Oh, I want this type of car, this year, this model. Should I buy it or should I lease it? And that is a fair comparison. So let's get started. Now I'm going to write down what I gave my students. This is a Ford F-150, the most popular selling truck in the US. I don't own a truck, but whatever. Apparently a lot of people do. So let's use that. The purchase price is $43,000. And we're going to do 36 months because I got a loan, I got a lease quote for the exact same vehicle, a 3-year lease, $1,500 down payment. This is for the lease, $755 a month, 10,500 miles allowed, 0.20 per mile, and then end of lease charge of $500. If this doesn't make sense right now, don't stress. We'll go over it when we're doing this. So we're going to say, we'll put 2023 Ford F-150. Okay. As a general rule, the cells in yellow are cells that you should manipulate. Now, $43,000, is that the total price? Well, of course not. California, we have sunshine and we have high taxes. So what we're going to do is $43,000 times 1.1. So we'll assume $47,300 is the total cost of purchasing the vehicle, including tax, title, license, delivery fee. They charge you a delivery fee. I don't understand what that is. Like, that's their whole job, right? I'm surprised they don't charge you an actual fee. Hey, the making the car fee. It's like, that's your business. Whatever. Anyway, okay. Now, down payment. If you're purchasing a car, you usually have to put down some amount in cash or write a check or pay on your credit card. And then the rest you can finance. So let's say we saved up $5,000. That means we are now borrowing $42,300 $42,300. And again, I put some websites up here. If you're looking to buy a specific car, you can go here and check cars for sale. And then you can also check leasing. Leasing terms vary based on where you live in the country. So I'm just using the stuff that I found. So I'm not going to do this because I already found it. Now, loan payments. I could calculate this for you, but then you wouldn't learn anything, would you? So let's go. And we're going to say Ford F-150 2023. So that's what our spreadsheet is called. Now, we want to find out, okay, what are we doing? We're going to borrow $42,300. For how long? Well, the lease term is 36 months. And we want to compare leasing a car for 36 months or owning the same car for 36 months and think, what is our cost in either scenario over that 36-month period? So we're going to put 36 months here and the interest rate. Now, this is going to depend on a bunch of factors. It's going to depend on how much you're borrowing, from whom. It will depend on your personal ability to borrow, things like your credit score. If you have a low credit score, you're going to have a higher interest rate. If you have a high credit score, you're going to have a lower interest rate. I got an email from my credit union that said 5%. So we'll put 5%. Now, what I could do is calculate this for you automatically. But then, what would you learn? Not very much. So, there are three variables to a loan: the amount you borrow, the length of time you borrow it, and the interest rate. So let's go over to our loan calculator. And I gave you the link here. Let's go to our loan calculator. And we're going to borrow $42,300. Loan term, this is years now, not months. 36 months is how many years? 3 years. Oh, it says months there too. And the interest rate, we put 5%. Now we're going to hit calculate. Boom. 12, we'll just put 1,268. So now we're going to come back and put 1, 2, 6, 8. And the reason I make students calculate this in my class is so that they will get practice using a loan calculator and understanding. You're borrowing $42,300, but if you look, this cell here is simply the monthly payment times the number of months. You're paying $45,648. So the difference, $3,300, is the interest. That is the cost of borrowing that money. So that is a cost that you actually have to pay. So I think this is interesting because it shows you, hey, you know what? You are spending an extra $3,000 in change to borrow the money. Okay, now the $5,000 that you paid cash, what would you do if you didn't spend that on a car? Well, maybe you would keep it in the bank account. And what's your bank account paying you? Let's throw in 4%. You can get savings accounts as high as 4, 5, 5.5. We'll throw 4. Well, what that means is that you could have earned $624 in interest over 3 years at 4%. So we're going to include that as a cost. Now, this is where a lot of students basically run into problems in two scenarios. First, they don't calculate this payment correctly. And second, they struggle with this. Value of a car at the end of the period. So what does that mean? Well, let's go here, and I don't know why this didn't go as a website. I don't know, whatever. We'll copy this and paste it over. I'll see if I can get that link fixed. kbb.com. And what we're going to do is price a used vehicle. Because the idea is that we're going to own this Ford F-150 for 3 years and then sell it. And that way we can compare owning for 3 years or leasing for 3 years. So let's have a look and see. We'll say a 2020 Ford F-150. There's about 27 different models. We'll just pick this one. It defaulted to that zip code. Sure, price, new or used. Let's do cars for, oops. Let's do this again, 2020. This is a great way to do it. Regular cab, boom. Because then you can see, okay, if I were to sell mine, what is the competition? So we're going to sort by, we're going to get rid of all these ads. Not now, sort by price, highest. So figure the most we could get for something like this. And should we look at our mileage? Figure for 3 years, we've got under 60,000 miles. And then maybe the trim, what did we say it was? XL. Okay, so here we go. Looks like that one they're asking 34,000. That one they're asking 32,000. We'd probably want to open up our search a bit. Let's do 75 miles just to make sure we get enough. I mean, that thing's almost brand new, 6,000 miles. And so it looks like, what do you think? Low 30s. It looks like the low 30s, 45,000 miles, 32,000. So if we put $30,000 in, that's probably what a 3-year-old Ford F-150 would go for. Now, obviously, used car values change, and sometimes there's a lot of demand for them. Sometimes there isn't. So this is the kind of thing, we're trying to predict the future, which you just make a guess. So we pay $47,000. We put $5,000 down. $5,000 down. Now, what we've done is we borrow $42,000 for 36 months at 5%, which gives us this payment. Costs us $45,000 more. And then we could have earned $624,000, but we sell the vehicle for $30,000. So the total cost over 3 years, if we were to buy it, drive it, sell it, $21,000 and change. Okay. Now, let's see what it would cost to lease. I got this info from a Ford dealership near me. So $1,500 down. Monthly lease payment, $755. Remember, this is the monthly lease payment. This is not your loan payment. Your loan payment depends on how much you put down. So this is the other big mistake that students make, is they say, oh, $755, and then they have this. Well, you can't borrow $42,000 and only pay back $27,000. So just please don't make that mistake. Please run this calculation on your own. Back to the lease. This stuff, the gray cells populate from up above. And then the end of lease charges, I put $500. Obviously, if you remember, you're given 10,500 miles to drive on the lease. If you drive more than that, your lease charges might be higher. So if you go over, maybe you're paying $1,500 in end of lease charges. If we add all of that up, it spits out $30,000. So if you buy the Ford, drive it for 3 years and sell it, it will cost you $21,000 over that period. If you just lease it, it will cost you $30,000. I'm going to update this for next semester because I'm actually looking at getting a new car, probably something like a Hyundai Palisade. And I'm going to go and ask the dealership, hey, what would it cost to buy it? Or, oh, I'm not sure, maybe I want to lease it. And then what I'll do is I'll take that info and I'll probably use that for next semester because obviously students could just watch this thing and copy it and get full credit. And then you don't learn anything. So I'm using this example, but going forward, we're not going to use this data. I'm going to give you different data to use. And again, if you're looking at a car for yourself, well, get the data on your own car. But remember, it needs to be the same car, the same year, the same model. I get a lot of students who go, oh, I'm looking at a 2008 Toyota Corolla or leasing a Tesla. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Those are two totally different vehicles, so you can't make that comparison. I hope this was useful. Please feel free to give me feedback on what you thought you liked and did not like, if there's anything I can improve or change. Thank you very much, and look forward to seeing you in future videos.